Welcome everyone to We Are Endurance webinar series. It gives me great pleasure to introduce you to Tito. Tito is an expert in Tai Chi and a lot of different types of martial arts. And he's going to talk to us a little bit about how to use this in conjunction with our training, either for running or for triathlon. And so without further ado, take it away, Tito.
Hi, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you taking the time to have me on the show and to acknowledge how Tai Chi or martial arts, and any type of martial arts for that matter, could help strengthen your running, your biking, swimming, your everyday life, your activity, in the workplace. Tai Chi is a martial art that has Qigong, which I don't know if anybody know what Qigong is, but basically that is an internal exercise where you do a lot of different breathing techniques, a lot of different arm, feet motions or static positions. And it helps open up different channels in the body that may or may not be like congested. So it will enhance anything that you want to participate in. So again, workplace, for instance, let's say running. Tai Chi has a lot of static. It's not really static because you're moving, but you're moving at such a slow pace that it allows all of your stabilizer muscles to be strengthened. So when you are running, you're actually on one foot, right? So you're constantly like this. You don't run like this. You run like this. So you're giving your body a chance to stabilize itself, which means as long as you're doing it the correct way, you have these static positions where your foot, your ankle, and then your knee needs to be in perfect alignment, right? And that's the same thing with running. If anything is over or under not in alignment, then you risk the chance of hurting yourself or overextending or hurting your knees or getting bursitis, water your knees, something like that. It's just a short story just to enhance what I'm saying. I used to play football. A big time football player when I was in high school, junior high school, and I suffered from bursitis, which is water in the knee basically. Around that time I had started learning Shaolin from my teacher, Sifu Clayton Shu. And within a year, my bursitis was gone because we worked these static positions where you call it a horse stance. So basically you want to just stay in a static position. I don't know if you can see me. Go this way. So I would just stay like this for like, a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then you'll switch positions this way. And as you can see, you have your knee. You can't see my ankles, but you see the alignment here, right? You're working your hip flexor, so you got this torque going on this way, and then you got your back straight. So you're working a lot of alignment, right? A lot of good alignment that going to strengthen your running, going to strengthen your biking, and it's just going to prolong your career. It's going to prolong your career as a triathlete, as an athlete, just whatever you want to do. It's going to prolong it. As far as the Qigong component, which is the breathing, and this is something that me and you kind of worked out, or we kind of figured out along with Ray, the breathing. So I've done, let me see, 4 New York City triathlons, right, in New York City. And for whatever reason, I couldn't pinpoint it. I would always bomb the swim. Like I would be apprehensive and just like overwhelmed. Like I couldn't control my breathing, and I get in the water and it's like, dude, like what's wrong with you? You trained for this for like months. What is going on? And I just would have to like really calm myself down before I can proceed. And my first open water swim this season, the same thing happened. And I'm like, yo, what is going on? So I was speaking with Ray, And he introduced, he was like, well, he said, well, I think he did a Tai Chi class, and they talked about breathing. And then I was like, oh wow, wait a minute. Duh. Like, I just put the two together. It's like, and now I've been swimming like way better, way more like calmer. As Hillary, as she mentioned to me one time, she said, well, can I give you some, some pointers? You're swimming good, but you should really extend. You should really, after your stroke, you should like really extend. And it's like the dots just connected for me, like, duh, like I had everything there. I just didn't put it together. So now that everything is being put together, I'm seeing a big difference now in my swim, thanks to the Tai Chi. Along with some breathing exercises that I've been adding to my everyday training, which I like to show you, but I'm going to give you a chance to you got any questions to ask, and before I actually show you. So yeah, Tai Chi it's a very it's not only for exercise. Most people think it's for old people. I see them moving really slow in the park, and it actually was a martial art, and it actually is a martial art. And it is something that you could use to defend or deflect or whatever you want to do. But like anything else, you need to practice. You need to practice a lot. So it's not something that I can show you a move and then you can go out in the street and then do it. No, it doesn't work like that. It's not jujitsu. It's not boxing. It's not wrestling. It's not like that. You have to actually train a lot. So most people don't have that time, right? So that's why they go to jujitsu or they'll go to boxing, because it's a one-on-one. It's actually a lot of drills. It's, you face an opponent. This is what you do. It's not like that. So if it's not for martial arts for you, then yes, exercise and Qigong is the perfect enhancement for your training already. So I don't know, you guys got any questions? I've been talking, I've been rambling. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. My question is, can you explain where Tai Chi came from? Like, is it a Japanese? Where does it come from? What's the origin?
Okay, that's great. That's good. So, to be honest, it is Asian martial art. It's a Chinese martial art. Even karate is a derivative from Chinese martial arts. So they didn't have Korean, it came from China first. But here's the thing, most people don't know. A lot of the Chinese martial arts came from India. So Shaolin is everybody knows Shaolin from the monks, they all know Shaolin. However, Bodhidharma, which was from India, he came, showed the Chinese, the monks, how to how to pray and how to meditate, right? He showed them all of those techniques. On his second visit or third visit, I'm not sure quite which one, he noticed that they lacked the physicality to hold these postures for a certain amount of time. That's where the martial arts came into play. He showed them what they call Lohan, which is 18 Lohan. It's basically a drill of move, kicks, a series of stances to strengthen them physically so that they can hold these postures for longer, right? So, and it's called Kali Palari. That's the derivative for Shaolin. So really, it actually comes from, India. So by way of, and if you think about it, it kind of makes sense, because you have like people that practice like yoga and what do you call that with the chakras and all that. It's basically almost the same thing, right? It's like the stepchild of I can't think of what it's called right now. When you practice the chakras, you have 1, 2, 3. It's just kind of like the same thing as qigong, So yeah, it's a Chinese martial art by way of India.
My other question is it a way to alleviate stress and also meditate? I mean, is that incorporated into it?
So in martial arts, there's external martial arts which is like karate, hungar, which is like tiger claw, Wing Chun, very external, very hard, right? And then there's internal martial arts. Most internal martial arts already going to have Qigong incorporated into their systems. So you don't have to practice these static poses where you see people just holding a stance like this. That's a Qigong stance, right? This will be a Qigong stance. It's already incorporated. So you have styles like Bagua, Xingyi, Tai Chi, right? Those three are already have Qigong incorporated into them, which mean breathing techniques, which meaning they have standard postures. Bagua is, I don't know if you guys know or you're interested, is basically you walk a circle. So you constantly walk in your circle, you constantly you change, and then you walk the other way around. Xingyi is more directive, right? More about what we call fa jing. It's like unleashing your power and being able to control your power through breath, right? So it's a lot of, right? A lot of like bringing it from the ground up all the way through your chest and then exerting it out. Tai Chi is using minimum force to move big obstacles. So if someone is coming at me, I don't want to have this big block, right? I don't want that. I want to basically absorb the punch that's coming to me, move it just a little bit off my center line. So if the punch is coming here, I just want to take it and move it just off my center line, which would then hopefully throw that person, he'll make himself thrown. He'll throw himself on the floor. So think of it as like a bullet coming out of a gun, right? What affects a bullet coming out of a gun? Usually it's wind, right? And you don't need a lot of it. The trajectory, the wind, it'll just carry the bullet off center line. So it's the same kind of thing. You just want to move it off the center line. That's all we want to do. We don't want to do we don't want to exert a lot of energy. So therefore, a lot of Tai Chi people are really, the joke is we're lazy because we want to do just enough to get it done. So in running, in swimming, in biking, I think I had mentioned this to you, Hillary, too. It's like the people that are really good at it, they make it look effortless, like they're not doing anything. You're like, well, golly, he don't look like he's doing, or she don't look like she's doing anything. That would be considered good Tai Chi because they're exerting energy that looks like it's very little. So
now, excuse my ignorance here, okay? But what's the difference between Tai Chi and yoga?
So yoga is, well, yoga is more a series of postures for movement, for exercises to strengthen. Whereas Tai Chi is an actual fighting form. So whether or not, now I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. There's probably less than, I would probably say, and this is my opinion only, 10 people in the world that can actually really fight with Tai Chi, because it's a lost art. I mean, let's be honest. With MMA around, with kickboxing, but these things, they work. I teach you something, I teach you how to bump, bump, bump. You get with a partner, it makes sense. For me to show you what part the horse's mane is, which is a Tai Chi move, and then to show you how to use that in the fight, probably not gonna go well for you. You know, unless you practice that a million times with a partner, it's probably not gonna go well for you, so I wouldn't suggest it. Whereas yoga, it's more of, it's not a martial art one, but yoga is very crucial because it also strengthens ligaments and those tiny, muscles that support the bigger muscles that we forget about. So I'm a big believer in yoga, even though I need to do it more than I do, only because, again, it will prolong your career as far as, you know, health and fitness. And if you want to be a triathlete to 99, it will help you prolong that. Because at some point, we as older people have to stop lifting heavy weights. We can't. Our muscles, our bone structure won't support that anymore because it's not ideal. It's more important to work your stabilizing muscles, flexibility, mobility. Those things are more important than actually isolating my bicep and making my bicep just big. That makes sense? So yeah, it is a big difference. But they can go hand in hand because also yoga will enhance your flexibility. It'll keep you very mobile, right? So like right now, as 50, you know, I'm still opening up my hips and still spending a lot of time on flexibility and mobility, because that's like one of the first things to go as we get older. Is, you know, that's why you have people that walk off, you know, the sidewalk and fall and break their hip because they don't have that stability or mobility anymore. And as triathletes, you know, or just athletes, period, that we understand that. So why not spend a day or a session or maybe 2 sessions just doing that, whether it's Tai Chi, whether it's, you know, yoga, as you said, Pilates. You know, it's very important to incorporate that, not strength training, not strength and conditioning. I'm talking about something totally different now. I'm talking about just, you know, stability. Because a lot of the time, like I said, we do not run like this. We do not run on 2 feet. We run like this, which means that whole structure of that foot that's hitting the ground needs to be supported. It needs to have a structure. Also side to side, a lot of lateral movement, which people don't understand either. Even though we are going forward, a lot of power dissipates from the side. So we also need to incorporate lateral movement.
It's a lot. It's great. Does it make you strong?
Tai Chi?
Yes.
I would not strong in the sense of like lifting big weights. It makes you strong, your foundation strong. Your connection to the earth, what we call Di Gong. D means the earth, right? So it gives you a very strong connection to the earth, which what we need for running.
Absolutely.
You need that power to push off the ground, right? You need that explosiveness, right? It makes you strong mentally because you have to, these very cosmic, microcosmic movements. So you look like you're not moving, but you actually are, because there's a lot of things going on internally that are happening. Like even breathing, and we call it a microcosmic thing. And this is one I enjoy doing because I like to sleep. When I do sleep, we call it sleeping qigong. It's basically exercise where, you know, you're getting a fetal position. So one hand goes in between your knees, the other hand kind of cradles behind your head. And you basically want to breathe. You want to breathe in like this little light. You want to imagine you're breathing in like this little light, right? So as I'm breathing it in, right, it's traveling down, you know, it comes around, and as I exhale, it comes up. And then it comes back down again. And then it should feel like water, like just flushing down your face. And it just basically, you keep doing that cycle. And more than likely, you know, 20, 30 times, I'm usually asleep by the time I can't even finish the cycle because it relaxes you that much. So anybody that's like suffering from like anxiety for sleep, or just like had a bad work day and just like worrying about the day, you know, I highly recommend it. You know, even if you don't want to do the cradle position, you could just lay on your back and just pretend you could put your hands on your belly, like underneath your belly button, and just pretend that you're in the ocean, and the ocean, your breath is following the waves. So you want to really exhale. You want to push your stomach out and then suck it in. And as you suck it in, the breath will come out your mouth, and then you You inhale through your nose, and your stomach fills up again with air, your diaphragm, and you inhale again. It's the most calming thing. It really is. And then if you can imagine, I do it a few different ways with my clients. I either imagine that they're in the ocean, on the ocean, at the beach, at night, or whatever time they feel they like. And for those that don't like the beach, I say pretend you're in the mountains and you're just listening to the waves, the leaves blow back and forth. And if you're not a nature person, check this out. When you inhale, inhale something positive, your children's love, your husband, something that you want to do in life, something that makes you strong. And when you exhale anything that's negative, anything that's been bothering you, anything that you don't like about yourself, anything that you want to fix, you want to get that out, and then you keep doing the same thing, right? You want to smile from the heart, as one of my colleagues would say. So yes, it will make you stronger in the sense of stronger to the ground, and it will make you mentally stronger. So when you hit adversity, right? When you hit adversity, you can calm down. Because that's how I made it through those. I'm not gonna lie. That first triathlon, I was like, all right, I'm ready to put my hand up, let me out. But then I said to myself, like, I remember all the training I did. I can't imagine going home to my kids and saying, hey, daddy, what happened? And I'm like, yeah, kind of bombed, right? So what I did is I just breathed, I regrouped. Yes, I did. I believe in God. So yes, I talked to God. I swam on my back until I was able to get my nerves under control. And then when I was fine, I kept going. I turned over and I kept swimming again. And it did happen again. It happened maybe another 5 minutes in. But I just did the same thing. So I was able to manage my anxiety. And I think that's what it's more about. Because we're gonna have, as human beings, it's gonna happen. We're gonna have anxiety. Some things we just cannot control, right? We can't control what happened at work. We can't control that I'm sick, because I didn't get enough rest, right? I could have controlled it, but I didn't. So now it's about managing that. How can I now go forward? You know what I'm saying? I can't go back. I got to go forward. So I think Tai Chi is an all around martial art that will help all those aspects.
It's awesome. Um, can we take a step back and can you tell us a little bit like how you got involved in this?
So I've always been intrigued with martial arts since I was little. I'm a 42nd Street baby. My mother used to take me always to 42nd Street when I was little to watch the karate movies. So I was always into it. Boxing, you name it. But it's funny. It's a funny story. I was working at Kinko's on 59th Street in Columbus Circle, and this guy comes in, Asian, overweight, and I'm like, he's like, oh, and he's handing out, he wants to get these flyers, and he's like, they were Shaolin flyers, and I'm like, oh, you do martial arts? He was like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, because I'm judging him by how he looks, right? Which we shouldn't do as people. So I'm like, okay, But then it wasn't that caught my eye. What caught my eye was that he also did acupuncture, and I'm a firm believer in, someone that's that skilled and able to really produce bodily damage to somebody also can heal. So I thought that was like a very yin yang moment for me. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
okay. So that's what really intrigued me. So I was like, he was like, yeah. So I said, well, I'll do these flyers for you, for free. Just, can I come to your classes? And that's how that became. And that was like, I think I was like 20, maybe 21,
Wow.
I think. And ever since then, my teacher's been such an instrumental like part in my life. He's always there for me, always encouraging me. He's not one of those teachers that were like, oh, if I want to learn something, he said, well, go learn it. If I can't provide it for you, go learn it. I became his disciple in I believe 2012. So I belong to a martial art family. So it's not just, it's not just a group. I'm actually, it's a big ceremony.
Wow.
We did it over in China. I've been to Beijing three times for a
Wow.
total of like 6 months. Yeah, it's a very, how you say, I mean, we know because as triathletes, we kind of have a family as well. It's like, when you meet somebody and you kind of like you're on the same yoke, you understand the training, you understand the lifestyle, you understand the ups and the downs. We just don't have a dedicated, like, how you say, a family where you go through a whole thing of things where now you're family. We don't have that, but I think we kind of do.
Yeah.
Like I met you and it's like, oh, we just clicked. And you was
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm swimming. You're like, hey, you want to swim with us? You literally stopped me like mid-stroke, like, hey, you want to swim with us? I'm like, sure, I'll swim with myself. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's
Yeah.
really cool. So because as human beings, everybody has their own things they're going through, their own beliefs, but this one thing puts us on the same page. We can all agree, okay, well, we like this. And this is the common denominator. And this, opens up dialogue for everything else. So, yeah, so the Shaolin was the first thing that we learned. And then he met my grandmaster, Master John Yun, who's the leader of the Yin Chun Kung Fa. And that's when we started learning Tai Chi. And then from Tai Chi, that opened up a whole nother world of martial arts and exercises and people. And then from Tai Chi, I learned my respective main martial art, which is Tong Bei, which I specialize in that as the North American vice president of the United States. I'm tasked with, one of my tasks is spreading Tong Bei, because a lot of Chinese martial arts back in the days, they didn't teach outsiders. They didn't teach people, that wasn't Asian, and especially didn't teach like the secrets or the real martial arts to people unless what they call a disciple, an indoor disciple.
Wow.
So it's a big honor. I just found out like yesterday that my teacher is going to Beijing again, and he invited me, but I said I can't because it's during the week of the Ironman. I'm like, geez, but you win some, you lose some.
Really interesting. Thank you. Do you teach this to kids?
To my kids, it's funny you asked. Before you was we started, me and my son was in the backyard doing Tong Bei. The Tai Chi, I haven't really taught them yet, only because it's a certain mindset. I mean, I actually should, because he's all over the place. You know what I'm saying? They constantly, with the ADHD and the video games and all that, I've actually, excuse me, I probably should, but I haven't as yet. I do have a martial art class on Saturday where I have a bunch of kids that come. But it's not just martial arts. It's not just about fighting. The first half hour, we do a lot of physical exercise, push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks of that nature. Then the second half hour is just nothing but Shaolin. So mostly just kicks, because I do Northern Shaolin. The difference between Northern and Southern Shaolin is a lot of short hand movements, a lot of they say contractive movements, very slow but very powerful. Shaolin is very flowery, very long, elongated, a lot of beautiful kicks and flying in the air and stuff like that. So we do a lot of kicks, and then the third half hour is boxing / kickboxing, and then the last half hour we just have fun. So we're going to do stuff like tag, tug of war. I call this thing called spirit death, where I have my Shaolin spear and I spin it around, and they either have to jump over the spear or they have to duck, or I isolate them and I'm trying to stab them and they have to move side to side. So even during the playtime, it's still active time for them to make connections in their brain to how to move, hand-eye coordination, connecting their brain to their actual muscles. Because it's really hard, believe it or not, like, you know, to learn a new skill, your body is saying, yo, what do you want me to do? And, you know, it's like odd. And it's like, you don't know because you haven't made that connection. Another funny story. I used to have a fight team in the Bronx. We had this warehouse and we would meet like 3 days a week. And one of the guys, he was like maybe 230 pounds, like muscle, big diesel. I mean, we're working out and he was like, I think we was doing rows. We was doing rows with a kettlebell, right? And he's like, oh, this is baby weight for him, which it was, because he's you know, he's 200 and something pounds. He could lift it with no problem. So I said, okay, this is a teachable moment here. So I don't know if you ever know what a Turkish get-up is. So it's when you lay on the ground. So I'm laying flat. I have the kettlebell here. I take the kettlebell, I press it up, then I sit up, then I get up, and I stand up like this, and then I go back down, right? I repeat the whole thing, right? So let me just, minus the kettlebell, let me just show you how it would look. So it's just basically here, you go 1, 2, 3, and then you stand up, right? And then you basically just go back down. You do the same thing. Hillary, he couldn't even get up off the ground. He couldn't even get off the ground with a 50-pound kettlebell. And I told him, I said, it's not that you can't do it, because clearly you can lift 50 pounds. We all know you can lift, but your body does not know what you want it to do. It has not been trained. You haven't made those connections yet, those neurological connections. So your muscles is like, whoa, what's going on? So he couldn't even get off the ground. So 1, I humbled him. 2, now he's like, I'm his protege, you know, so just make it conversation.
Awesome. It's awesome. I was going to say Logan. Janet, do you have any questions?
She's on mute.
Yeah,
So
I guess.
in
Yeah,
the interim, let me just show you, it's a breathing technique that I've been using, and it's really good. So what you want to do is always through your nose, obviously. You want to take in a breath for 2 seconds, and then you want to breathe out for as long as possible. You want to get all of the carbon dioxide out as long as possible, and then 2 short breaths in. Well, not 2 shorts, 2 seconds of breath in, and then again. So if you can start out with 4 seconds out, 2 seconds in, that's good. If you can do 6 seconds out, 2 seconds in, that's also good. If you could do 10, you get what I'm saying. The better you get, the stronger. And I'm finding out that it's making me as a swimmer a lot more proficient, right? It's allowing me to do that stretch that you was telling me to do. Like, you know, the pull. So it's really allowing me to elongate that stroke. So that's one. The second one that we do is we go, take a deep breath in, and you're just going to take 10 out short, just out. So then on the 10th one, you just hold your breath for as long as you can hold it, and then you just do it again, and you just keep doing it. These things actually help flush out lactic acid out of your body, because you're getting all the carbon dioxide out of your body as well. So it's a good thing. It's kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it is hard to do it during the run. It is kind of hard, but I do find that when I do it, it does help me. It may in the beginning increase your heart rate. I mean, I think it's too late in the game now to add it to your training, but I think it does have a place, you know, maybe afterwards. Like once you learn how to do it, and when you get used to doing it, I think it will have a place for you in your training.
You know, it's interesting. We had someone on the webinar, a local guy who wrote a book about breathing and running. And it's very, very similar to what you're saying, where you breathe in
Mhm.
and then breathe out. And it's, you know, and yeah, it's hard, but it was interesting. It was
Yeah,
interesting. Well, can you share how people can get in touch with you to learn more about your services?
sure, sure. I'm at Gunner Fitness, GUNNER @gmail.com. You can also check our website, which is Yin Chin Gong Fa. So um YG sorry, YCGF .org. Sorry. And then from there, there's also Tongbei at homestead.com. So those are a few websites where you can, if you want to see about Tongbei, you want to see about Tai Chi. We also do seminars, like there's a seminar coming up in Maryland. I don't know if anybody's from Maryland interested.
There are actually a few people from Maryland.
Yeah, so we Master Zhang Yun, which is the leader of our family. He is a direct descendant from Master Wang Ping Sheng, who is the leader of he passed away now, but he was the main Wu style Tai Chi guy, which is, by the way, which I failed to mention, we practice Wu style Tai Chi. So there's a lot of different types of Tai Chi. There's Chin style, there's Yang style, there's Wu style, there's Sun style, there's a whole lot of style. We practice Wu style Tai Chi.
Cool.
So
Cool. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time.
thank you.
And we will see you Monday evening at Tobey.
Yep, just make sure you bring some something comfortable. Some no flip-flops. You are welcome to do it barefooted if you want. I suggest not, because we're gonna do some pivoting and stuff like that. And my goal is to maybe just do a portion of it first, just so I don't overwhelm, because there's a lot of transitions. So
Yeah.
I want you guys to get the best out of this.
The
Yeah,
most beginner, the better.
yes. But thank you for doing it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Miss Logan, I see you back. You got any questions?
No, it's all very fascinating. I mean, it's brand new to me. So looking
Yeah.
forward to Monday.
All right. Thank you. I
Cool.
appreciate you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye.
All right. Good training. Happy training. Be safe.
Thank you. You too.